Okay, we're getting ready to start round two of the SSFA playoffs with Kansas City hosting the New York Jets. Got Dan Morin, the home team, Tom Cook on the road here. I think we're about to get started, so join this game. Let's just make sure I've got the right IP going here. Yeah, that looks right. Both teams were really hot at the end of the year. I noticed the Jets won the entire second and third quarter games. They started 2-2 and then won 8 in a row. Kansas City was red hot at the end of the season. I believe they won their last 8. And another team, Minnesota, was also hot toward the end of the season. And of course, you've got Seattle, who remained hot all year, winning all 16 games. It's saying waiting for server teams. Just want to make sure. Got everything right here. It looks like. Just check and make sure. We had an update in IPs. Yep, we did. Okay. Okay, looks like we're loading now. Okay, Tom's getting ready to kick. Maybe trying an onside kick. He's making sure Dan's ready, so keep everything. Here's Danny Johnson with a 28-yard return out to the 30, and Aaron Rodgers, who had a very low interception season, comes on, leading Kansas City on their first drive. Both teams went 11-5. Kansas City won a regular season game early in the season. Go ahead and share this out in case anybody wants to jump in and join. Okay, Dan did some seam adjustments. going to give me an option to join SSFA. Let's see it. Dixon is on the field to start. He had the best average, ran very well for the Chiefs this year. We've also got Anderson and 3 total running backs that carried the ball some. Of course, Christian McCaffrey is the key runner for the Jets. Okay, a 5-yard loss on the first play from scrimmage, so it's 2nd and 15. Aaron Rodgers, the blocking back set with Dixon. Dixon, obviously a great threat. Tom showing blitz. Had 50 sacks, if I'm not mistaken, during the regular year, so the Jets do come after the passer. It's going to be a draw left tackle, 4-yard pickup. It'll be 3rd and 11. Kenny Clark making the play. Nose tackle 6. And a few surprising nose tackles in the last 3 or 4 years. So obviously a position of need for any 3-4 team. And we've seen several pretty good ones come into the league recently. Obviously, Houston's Reader's probably one of the better values. I don't think any of us was expecting just a back-to-back 6s, I believe he may have had. So obviously one of the better ones. Got Adrian Peterson in the game on 3rd and 11. Not showing blitz. 3-3-5. It's going to be short to Josh Gordon. Rodgers flushed out of the pocket, takes off. It's going to be hauled down just short of the first down. It's going to be 4th and 3. And Dan sends Mike Dixon out to punt. So Boomer, and it bounces and goes into the end zone. And Derek Carr will come out on the field as the Jets get ready for their first drive. We're going to have a depth chart update here. As I mentioned, both these teams very hot, being seeded 4 and 5. Each team guaranteed a first-round bye, so this will be the first playoff game for both of these teams. In my opinion, in the NFL, the team that played the week before, when there's a team with a bye and one that had a game the week before, team who played the week before often gets out to a good start the first 15 or 20 minutes. But then things kind of level out. It's similar to what I used to feel with basketball if one team had a 5 or 6 day layoff compared to the other team. It would obviously affect the fatigue in game 1. I felt like things evened up pretty good by game 3, but especially the first half of game 1, even though they're more tired, a lot of times the team that had just got finished with their previous series, for whatever reason, they're just a little sharper. And early in the first game of an NBA playoff series, they'll often surprise the better team or the team that had more days off. But like I say, by game 2, usually the fatigue is kind of balanced out and the rust seems to drop off by probably second half of the first game. But you see that in NFL playoff games too. And you see games like the Titans last year where, they're just outplaying their opponents early in the game and getting control of the game. And they are very good at playing within their system when they have a lead. And it got tough for people to knock the Titans out. Took Patrick Mahomes to kind of overcome that early deficit that the Titans were putting teams under. Okay, we're getting the depth charts fixed here. Tom obviously has very good set of receivers. If he has a Stratomatic team, he's got good receiving depth. Heard some discussion when I was watching the card review show about Nathan talking with Tom about Ingram, who's a great receiving tight end, but is not a great blocker. And Tom had mentioned that he's been playing the blockers a bit more this year, and Nathan and me, we're kind of thinking I might just do without the better block rating and take a great receiving card tight end like Ingram. But Tom had great success with this team, and like I say, after an 0-2 start, they got red hot. Okay, Dennis is ready to join. Let me see if I can get him on. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, what's up? How you doing, Tim? Hey, Tim, how you doing? Go ahead and hit that. Go back to the other thing. Hit that full screen so that they get the whole intro out of there. Yeah, excellent.
Does that toggle off when you add someone?
It does. Yeah, it turns off when you add someone.
All right, nice tip for me to pick up there. I had it full screen, I believe, to begin with. Well, so far we had Dixon lose 5 yards on first down on the first drive for the Chiefs. They ended up getting it down to like 4th and 3, but punted. So we're just getting started.
Perfect. And I prefer you, if you don't mind, to do the play-by-play because you have a nice way of doing it. And I'll be the color commentator today, if that's okay.
Well, thanks for saying that. I actually learned a lot watching you and Tom. I get tips every time I watch one of the other guys do a broadcast. Okay, we got a 3-yard completion to Herndon. We were just talking, or I was just talking before about how Tom's been using his blocking tight ends instead of Ingram. I believe Nathan brought that up at the ratings review show.
Yeah, I think that he likes to use that Max Williams 6, and you'll see him go with a blocking back halfback set with Rhett Ellison as the blocking back, who's a 4-5. He's not a great receiver, but he has that blocking back 5 that can slow down the asterisk pass rushers.
Yeah, of course, we saw Zeb win a championship in Samifa last year using Robert Tanyan, I believe it was, as a not a great receiver at left tight end, but he's a 6 blocker and could go deep unlimited. So,
well, here's a little bit of each. He's got Herndon replacing Ingram, so he's a 4. Max Williams is in there. Then he also has the pass blocking of Rhett Ellison to look at, as well as McCaffrey. Both of those guys are 5 pass blockers.
Yeah, and obviously McCaffrey can be a volume runner for you, so you can ride that horse all day long.
Gotcha. So Tom's got the "Do Not Disturb" sign up on his door. That's cool.
Yep.
I wish I had one of those signs.
Yeah, I find adding some barbed wire to the sign typically helps a little bit.
Excellent.
Okay, we got a free safety 6, it looks like, for Dan. So he's probably going to move him up and let him play some flat zones from time to time. The 6-yard run for McCaffrey, and we got a 3rd and 1 for the Jets at their own 29 early in the first quarter.
So I like that what Dan did there. He called run, defending against the run call, but he also flooded the flat. So when you're a new coach and you're playing strat, try to think about, what am I going to be defending with this call? So he defended both outside flats and guest right running. So he left some of the stuff open, like there wasn't anybody in the run zones, but he's coming up with a plan to think about where his opponent's going to attack him.
Yeah, I think there are coaches who do an all or nothing kind of game plan on defense. I'm a hedger. I like to think of 2 or 3 alternative plays that I'm not in terrible shape for, other than just what I'm trying to stop. There's a 3-yard pickup. Max Williams, again, not a whole lot of yardage on the card, but that's all you needed there to pick up the first down.
Yeah, actually, that's a good thing, because if he would have gone to one of the halfbacks, I think they have blanks on 7s. So, or at least the receivers do. That's usually a blank spot on a flat pass for one type of receiver. I guess not the receivers, not the halfbacks, but maybe I'm thinking of the short pass receivers. So.
And the Chiefs defensive coordinator didn't spend all week figuring out how to stop Max Williams, so he's not going to get a lot of double team calls.
Yeah.
5 yards on first down for McCafferty gets wrong. You see the very consistent yardage card, almost nothing below 4 yards. You got a +2 on 6 and then the 0 on the 5, but really consistent. And you've got 10 units of short gain or better. In this card set, that's only average or slightly above average, but there aren't many way better than him. So you get the consistent yards and the short gain, and then you got the big plays on 2 and 12. And here's McCafferty picking up 8 with a good block by Shaq Mason. Tom almost always has good wide receivers and a good offensive line.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think, is this the league where he also has DJ Humphries, who's like a 6'3" offensive tackle, so he'll switch back and forth between Ronnie Stanley and DJ Humphries, depending on the situation?
I believe I remember that in the card review show. I believe I remember hearing that, and that he's just super deep next year, and it's going to have to probably look at maybe moving one. There's an incompletion on first down. Robert Alford, who had a pick 6 in the Super Bowl that the Falcons lost after going up 28-3. I believe I traded Alford to you.
In Samifa.
Yeah. Just kind of a run-of-the-mill 4 and 5 type quarterback, but regularly starts.
Yeah, he's one of those guys that you appreciated when they went to that corner, giving out fewer ratings for the outside cornerbacks, and the slots couldn't get their 4s anymore.
Exactly. And King, Zach Zenner loses a yard. Nice call there by Dan. Zach Zenner's been a kind of a Stratomatic favorite in the card stat because he's got a really nice guess wrong off-tackle linebacker card. And really guess right. You can get some yards there too. So Zach Zenner's one of those guys that limited carries, but you look at the guess wrong card, very nice yardage for moving the chains, 12 units of short gain, and then, like I say, a few guess right things too.
So Tom does have a plethora of riches there at offensive tackle. He's got, of course, Jake Matthews never moves. He's his best pass blocker and run blocker combo, but he's got Ronnie Stanley as a 4-7 at right tackle, or he could play Lael Collins, who's a 5-4 in this set, kind of a in-between guy, or go with DJ Humphries, who's all run and very little pass blocking.
Yeah, he probably looks at the opposing defensive end and, before the game and decides who's going to be the number 1 right tackle in this game.
Right.
So 3rd and 11, here's McCafferty. He's going to pick up 7, and it'll be 4th and 4. You're kind of in no man's land here. You could go for it very easily on 4th and 4 at this point in the game. But if you're a running team, like Tom has mentioned, he does sometimes with this team, you may think ball possession and field position and just punt it away here. Be an interesting call.
Yeah, I think that if it was 4th and 1, it would be a go for it scenario. If 4th and 2, like 60-40, but I think he's in a punt here.
I would too. 4 is a long way to go.
Yeah, some of those guess right runs on McCaffrey are like +3, +2 instead of the +4. Oh, he's going to surprise us.
I think it has a lot to do with Carr. Carr is such a good flat passer.
Gotcha. Yeah, if you look at his line buck on McCaffrey, he won't make it guessed right on 4, 5, 6, and 7, but he does make it in 11. But he makes it on the other numbers.
We'll see if Dan brings up a 6 and maybe puts him in the middle, maybe moves the other guys outside, tries a crazy flat. He does have a 6 in the middle, and it's going to be in-run McCafferty. He'll be guessed right.
He almost wants it on the D cards on this roll because of the 4 defensive end 4 there. Setting it up with the tension there. It makes it on the offensive cards on 8 and 10 only. There's a lot of +3s that'll come up just short.
And he's got Ingram out there. So we may have a freeze. But he's got Ingram out there who's obviously a great receiving pass kind of guy in a situation like this. But now the run might come up.
So looking at the cards, on the D card, it would make it on, 2/3 of the. It's going to make it for sure on two, 2/3 of the time on three. Not going to make it on four. Probably 2/3 of the time it's going to make it on five. 2/3 of the time it's going to make it on six. So Tom definitely wants it on the D cards on this roll. I know Dan's been having a lot of technical problems and he's getting really frustrated with the platform, but I really think it's something on his side.
It could be because, I've noticed from playing like Autumn Wind, Samifa, the same guy, I typically had the same trouble with in both leagues. And he mentioned, my connection was not so good in a hotel, I think the second game. And I'm like, probably got a shared Wi-Fi and, little outages, even if it's a microsecond, can affect the flow. So
correct. Yeah, I think that Dan says, "Oh no, we're streaming movies, we have all these kind of things, and playing Steam games." That doesn't necessarily mean it. You could, if you're in a weak spot in your Wi-Fi, it could go in and out, and next thing you know, you're not connected. So I would still look at that.
Yeah, about 4 seasons ago, I kind of live in a townhome here right on a golf course. About 4 seasons ago, they were kind of updating and adding a bridge to go over this little man-made lake, and none of us knew it, but they had cut the Wi-Fi line. And we were all complaining to our carrier, and they were like, there's nothing we can do. We've had testing. We've gone out there, blah, blah, blah. Finally, because so many people complained, they went out and checked, and they had actually cut the line. And all of a sudden, all my Strat interruptions of that particular season came into light, and some of the streaming problems I had with my television all of a sudden got fixed too. But you sometimes get a weird thing like that. But hotel Wi-Fi was definitely a big clue for me. That's definitely something I'll affect.
It looks like they're still having a problem.
It gets frustrating. Like I say, I didn't know what my situation was, so I'm like wondering, is Strat buggy this particular release? It'd be times I'd have very good Wi-Fi and very good television, and then all of a sudden it would drop off. So sometimes you get a weird intermittent thing like that that's interfering with it. And who knows? Dan may be running into something like that. You're right. That's the way I kind of handle it. Normally, the guy with the most consistent connection, should host in situations like that, I believe.
Yeah, I think that Dan's just been having problems. Maybe it's not his Wi-Fi, maybe it's not his connection, but something's going on. I looked at his machine and set up his antivirus to basically have an exception for the Strat football directory,
right?
And also reloaded his game, repatched. Everything seemed okay, but who knows what the underlying issue is.
It's funny, the time I was having connectivity issues with Strat was about the time we were all starting to use Slack. And I started wondering if Slack was somehow, grabbing bandwidth and keeping it from Strat for some reason. I used to shut Slack down during the games unless we had a disconnect. And, finally, like I say, I realized it had nothing to do with either. It was just a local connectivity problem here we were having.
Right.
If you happen to see the game ID, let me know. Not sure.
Oh, I do. It's one. Oh, sorry. It is 11101. I'll send it over to you.
Okay, binary code for this one.
Gotcha. Yes, it is.
Okay. Here's McCafferty going for 0. So on fourth down, he does not get the roll off the D cards, and as you mentioned, only a few chances there for him to pick up the first down, guess right off of his own card. Kansas City will take over at their own 49.
And we have a little bit of a change of view as now the Chiefs are traveling down the screen instead of up the screen.
Yes, we were told to set up our cameras on the opposite end of the field. We're not sure why we got kicked out of one end, but anyway, we're resuming here. Tom's showing blitz here. I was mentioning he had 50 sacks. That's a lot for Tom. Tom's not often a big going after sacks guys, but as he mentioned in the ratings show, he's starting to kind of come around a little bit and enjoy the free safety blitz a little bit, maybe, but just pass rush in general a little bit more than before.
Yeah, when you got guys like Myles Garrett and Danielle Hunter and Lorenzo Alexander.
Yep, and all
Jordan Jenkins. It's fun to embrace that sack pass rush.
Yeah, I believe all three had double-digit sacks when I was looking at their season stats. So here's second 12. Dixon, 3 carries for -3 yards, hoping to pick up on that. Guessed right off tackle Dixon. Tom's been calling guessed right on him and really getting him stopped in the backfield so far. Good job by Tom.
That's one thing I noticed. Tom does a good job of calling run, even though sometimes it's like you're fighting your instinct to stick with that.
Yep.
Dixon has a not so glamorous stat line of 4 carries for -7 yards.
Peterson in on third down, and it'll be a left flat pass to Peterson. He's got an open flat over there. It's only going to pick up 6. It'll be 4th and 10. Unable to take advantage of the turnover on downs. The Chiefs will look to punt from the same spot they picked up the ball. 51 yards, coffin corner. Looks like about the 14-yard line as Derek Carr will come on for his second possession.
But yeah, that's a little uncharacteristic of Tom of going for it there on fourth down. Maybe he's wanting to mix things up with the go big and go home style that we've talked about.
Yeah, he's got a couple of guys that aren't great run defenders in the middle of the opposing defense. Let's see how the outside guys look. 4-4-12, 4-4-6. Of course, he was bringing the free safety up, but he's only a 4. But he only got some 4s, and maybe he was – a fumble. Chiefs pick it up and will take over at the Jets 35. McCaffrey gained 21 yards on the play with the box symbol, but rolled the 3 on the random fumble check, and he's a 12. So ball hit the turf, and the Chiefs fall on it.
He nearly broke that one, 21-yard gain, and then he coughs it up.
So we'll see what Aaron Rodgers does here.
So that's what Tommy does a lot of good double teaming there. There's another Jamal Adams doubling up on Josh Gordon. He'll go after your best receiver or your most dangerous receiver and consistently double him. Now with a 6, 2 6 cornerbacks and a 6 strong safety and a 6 free safety, maybe he doesn't have to do that as much, but that's just his style.
And he's probably feeling very safe about leaving those guys in the short zone, playing one-on-one, so can be a little more aggressive when you've got guys that can handle their assignments one-on-one with 0 men in the deep zone. So got a second line.
Good point. We get those empty 0 men in deep pass zones. You feel a little bit better if you have a 6 there.
Yeah, you don't lose a ton by having a 0 men in the deep zone if you've got 6 on defense. Here's Dixon finally gets a guess wrong, and he picks up 5 there, and it's going to set up a 3rd and 4 with the Jets 29. Both kickers made most of their kicks, but I didn't actually take a look and see how good they were. I just noticed they only missed a couple each, all the way 2 through 10 to the 32.
Yeah, 2 through 10 to the 32. That's pretty good. That's for Kansas City's kicker, Brandon McManus. With all the run calls, it makes it tough for Dan to run draws because he's always worried about Tom calling a run. So that's an effective use of the cat and mouse to get your opponent off of something he might normally be comfortable using as a weapon.
Yeah, and let's take a look at another of Dixon's drawbacks. Guessed wrong, 30 fumble. So guessed right, that's roughly 60, and you get keyed, you're up getting close to 100 on the fumble rating there. So
big call here.
You might think this, and I do, this isn't a great down for Dixon because he could lose several yards and get you back to the point where the wind may knock you out of great field goal range. It's a short pass, incomplete, looking for Gordon, and feel like McManus, yes, will come on and try to get the first points on the board here. Just under 4 minutes left in the first. And he gets it through the uprights, and Kansas City takes a 3-0 lead early in this round 2 playoff game.
But Tom's got to feel good because he kind of has had 2 drives that ended in turnovers, if you consider the turnover on downs as a straight turnover. And he's only down 3-0.
Exactly right. And looks like he's going with 2 tight end, 2 wide receiver, Zach Zenner at running back set to open the drive. McCafferty being asked to hold on to the football and watch Zenner for a play. Left tackle Zenner will be guessed wrong. He's got 4 yards, 2nd and 6. We'll see if McCaffrey comes back on. Zenner will remain on the field. Got Ingram in at tight end on this play.
Yeah, Zenner is one of those guys that's unlimited for a half, so you might see him rely on him a little bit more, try to get those 10 carries he has left, unfatigued, put him to good use in this first half.
Yeah, after first half, you get kind of limited to just finding some 3rd down spots and some red zone spots to use him in. And Zenner picks up 8 there on the guessed wrong flat pass. Derek Carr 3 for 4, 14 yards. 75% for, 4.5 per attempt. Playing just like he does in real life. Just kidding.
There you go.
Tackle draw, McCafferty's going to pick up 2 on that play. Chandler Jones, run defender 5, makes the play there.
Is he going back to an outside linebacker in this 2019 set?
He does. I forget now, but he's like a 0.5 and then the huge pass rush, if I'm not mistaken.
Gosh, what a difference. I'd much rather have a 5'12" star than a 0.5'12" outside linebacker.
Oh, yeah. Defensive end, you have no assignments. You can just go rush the passer down after down.
3rd and 9 there after that rare miss by Carr on was only his only hit for negative yardage.
And Coach Cook asked Ingram to come over and talk to him for a moment. He goes, "That's why you don't play more. You lost a yard. Sit down." So Carr 4 for 5 for 13 yards now.
What do you think about using Herndon over Ingram in this set? Well, he just gets the completion, but if Ingram's a better receiver, the 4 blocking is never going to come into play because he's in the 3 wide set.
Yeah, he's 1926, and I believe Ingram is maybe maxed out short. Not sure.
We'll see if that comes into play.
Let's take a look at Ingram and see. No, he's actually only 16-22 short. So.
Oh, okay. So Herndon's got the better card.
Yeah,
makes sense.
Yeah, Tom knows this team better than I do.
Yeah.
Zenner picks up 11 there, and no box, but no fumble. We start the second quarter with the Chiefs up 3-0. It's going to be a flat pass to Herndon, 10 yards. Herndon 3 for 25 now.
And you got to feel better about that. If you're Tom, your offense is rolling, you're only down by a field goal. You're either going to take the lead or tie it up here, barring a turnover.
Long to Stills, guessed wrong.
And there it is.
He's got it. Touchdown. Derek Carr found Kenny Stills. Defense looking to stop the run. Tom's been running this whole drive, and Derek Carr with the play action finds Kenny Stills. Jets take a 6-3 lead.
Yeah, guessed right. Guessed right. That was incomplete.
Dan mentions good call and drive. Tom rebounds from the first 2 turnovers, gets on the board. So you play the Rams, if I'm not mistaken, in the next round?
Correct. Yeah, going to play Nathan, Pat Mahomes, and Gus Edwards. Nice combo.
Yes, it is. Seriously looked at Gus Edwards in the second round of the SSFA draft. I would have probably taken Kerryon Williams over him, but I was looking at both those guys had Davenport not been there. But I really like Davenport, and it's like Tom and I were talking about when we made our trade, swapping first-round picks. My team was just not really mature enough to really go for it totally last year. I used some 6- and 7-round picks to kind of push my team up, but I was really looking to go for more of a positional player than a running back last year. This year may be a little different. I still got a lot of holes, but I feel like my core is probably a little closer to where I want it. That I'm probably more likely to spend an early round pick on a running back than I was last year. Doesn't mean I would, but
right. So what was the trade? Do you remember the details? I know you moved down a little bit.
Tom traded the 14th overall pick and his first round of this year for the number 3 overall pick. I think he would move up and probably take Barkley. And then Andrew Luck retired, and so he moved up to 2 to pick Darnold. I ended up trading, I want to say, a 5th round pick or 4th round pick to move up from 14 to 11 because I felt like the players I was most interested in, that would be around the cutoff. And I took Deron Payne there at 11.
Yeah, good pick.
Not a steal. I mean, he's probably not even a top 11 player, but I was wanting to move to a 3-4, so he's good for my team. And here's Tom going for it and finds McCaffrey for the 2-point conversion to go up 8-3. Kick off a 12 coverage team makes the play there, only plus 19.
Dan getting a little frustrated with the pace of play, wanting Tom to speed it up a bit. So we'll see what that does to how this next drive goes.
There's Aaron Rodgers. Dixon's still in. I believe Dixon's loses 5 again. Tom is right on his calls with Dixon. And Dixon's only got 1 half, so he's down to 6 unfatigued carries. You expect he'll use them all in the second quarter, or most of them.
That's the real definition of a dreaded 5, when you lose 5 on an off tackle.
And he loses another yard. Tom's offense has been Kenneth Dixon runs while he's on defense.
Exactly.
7 carries, minus 8. Dixon got one of the great cards in the set, a guy that can give you a lot of value for 60 carries, but guess right, he can lose a lot of yards when he's not hitting those short games too. Third and 16, Adrian Peterson back in. Peterson wanting to be in on the rundowns, but so far he's coming in on the passing downs. And for 4th and 16, Kansas City will punt.
Aaron Rodgers off to a rough start. I don't think we've seen a guest. I mean, I can't remember a guessed wrong short pass by him yet. So Tom's guessed him right pretty much every time.
He has. He had the key double team with the free safety on 1, and it's pretty much been calling perfect game on defense.
So even with those 2 turnovers, he still is up by 5 and he's got the ball.
Ball at their own 39. Zach Zenner, first half specialist, still in. Here's long to Stills. It's going to be a dump off, 1 yard for Zenner there. Fool me once, but don't fool me twice, Dan says, as Derek Carr looks to hit Kenny Stills for the second consecutive play behind the secondary. Second and 9. It's a flat pass, zone flooded. Carr gets 5 yards, gets out of containment. 3rd and 4 at the Jets' own 45.
So how do you go about defending against a great flat passer like Carr? Are you a flood the zones kind of guy or double team kind of guy? What do you do to stop that kind of quarterback?
I think it depends a little bit for me on what kind of short zone coverage I have. If I have good cover guys, a lot of times I will use the free safety. If there's one particular flat receiver that worries me, I'll sometimes do some double teams. But if it's just what I used to call the shell game, where you're just throwing to 5 different guys in 3 different zones, and it just gets to be a guessing game, a lot of times I will just try to wait for the offense to stick together a +1 and an incomplete to end the drive rather than try to overplay the flat. So
makes sense. So yeah, I like that idea.
Kind of like calling run on defense in a way to me without moving your linebackers up all the time. So you can just call run, and even if you're against a good running game, if you had enough guess right calls, you can eventually stop most guys. Of course, Zeb would be begging to differ with the way his team ran last year. He had a good passing game, but he could just hammer Henry behind a really good line and not really worry if it's guessed right, because he's going to get 4 yards on a lot of high percentage of those plays too.
So they say momentum is only as good as your next day starting pitcher. Well, I guess in football it'll be your next drive. So nice job there by Dan, stopping Tom on a key 3rd down with the run call, getting a short punt. Now he's got a chance to go back down and get his offense in gear.
Yep. It was a short game by Dixon, trying to get into yardage.
He finally hits that. He's now 8 runs for 4 yards after that 12-yard gain.
So he's got about 4 unfatigued carries left, I believe. Let's take a look. Yeah.
And there's our first short pass against wrong call, and it's a big one.
Cameron Brate, with the field open in front of him, falls and only picks up 21. Would have gone for a touchdown, but he only picks up 21 there. Wrong guy for the wrong role on the Chiefs side of the ball. The way they look at it, they were hoping that'd be a Josh Gordon or Amari Cooper long game. He could have scored, but Brate still gets a nice game, 21 yards and approaching field goal range. Still a good play for the Chiefs. Brate, he's going down. That looks like Lorenzo Alexander, 8-yard loss.
You only get so many of those long gains on the short pass card. You'd like to, like you said, take it to the house. But that's what happens when you have those guys with limited yardage. Stalker's only 31 yards, Brate's 21 yards. So that's why you'll see Tom go to this 3-3-5 as often as he can by the rules and double team those outside guys or call run.
Mm-hmm. You see it in bigger leagues more so, where guys just do not have the options to take it to the house. A lot of times team will only have 1 or 2 guys that can actually take it to the house in some of the big leagues, like 30 teams.
Yeah, that hurt me in Autumn Wind, where I only had like one dangerous receiver in Deshaun Jackson, and everybody just kind of doubled him. At least the smart coaches did. A correct double on Cooper, but it's a dump off there. That's at least positive for Dan. Get him into a makeable 3rd down spot.
Yep, Tom stays hot on defense with another nice call.
Blocking back halfback set by Dan with Peterson and Stalker in there.
He's at the 32, so you're at the edge of your real good field goal range here. So it'll be an interesting play call here. Shotgun, Nate.
And Tom responds with a 3-4 showing blitz. So you could run a draw, maybe an end run with Rogers, but if he calls run, you're going backwards, and that's going to take you out of field goal range.
What's Rogers' end run like this year? Let's take a look.
It's fantastic. Guessed wrong,
yeah.
but guessed right. Not so hot. And it stays consistent. Goes with another flat to Peterson. That's the third time we've seen that on a third down call.
There's McManus, and the wind comes into play, but he still nails it.
Pushed back into the poor range, but gets just what he needed. So it stops the bleeding for a little bit.
So 8-6 here. Just less than halfway through, or just more than halfway through the second quarter. Zach Zinner back on. McCafferty's got plenty of carries for the second half. Flat pass left to Herndon, guessed wrong. He's going to pick up 3, 2nd and 7. Derek Carr, 10 for 11, 73 yards, touchdown on the bomb to Stills.
8 unfatigued carries left for Zenner, so he'll mix them in on this drive for sure.
Short to Ingram, guessed wrong. And he picks up 15. Nice throw from Derek Carr. Jets out to their own 43. They've been moving the ball pretty well all day long. Just got stopped on a 4th and 4, and then a fumble by McCafferty. But otherwise, they've been moving the ball pretty consistently. 8 yards to Herman, 5 catches, 36 yards. 2nd and 2.
Dion Lewis checks in the game for a throwaway carry, or at least to make you think you're going to do a throwaway carry. Breaking news, Adam Schefter reports, well, we'll do it after this play.
Max Williams breaks it, but again, the cap comes into play. He gets 25 out of a possible 53 yards. So instead of scoring, they at least get the ball down to the 24, but that's the second time we've seen that come into play.
So Adam Schefter reports the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes have reached agreement on a 10-year contract extension, a 10-year extension. That must be some insane numbers.
And just a few minutes after, Andy Reid mentions he'd like to coach for at least, say, 10 more years.
What a coincidence. First and goal now for the Jets.
And Eric Bieniemy's like, I will be the greatest offensive coordinator in history. Thank you.
There you go. You should get a head coaching chance at one of these years, I think.
He's one of those guys that worries me that he's just a coattail guy. I don't know that he's necessarily been considered great until Mahomes became great. And it's sort of like, everybody who was a ball boy when Favre was at Green Bay was an all-time great head coach possibly, and almost the same during the Montana era. Man, if you were anywhere on the sideline, you're a future head coach. So
there you go.
But I don't know. He did get some interviews, but like I say, I just wonder if he's just a right place, right time kind of guy.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yeah. I think Tom kind of felt that way about the Bears head coach moving there, and his name, I forget it right now.
Yeah, why am I forgetting it too? Yeah, you made me forget it.
Yeah. Funny, Tom was talking about that last year on the forum, though, how he's wondering, if this guy was just kind of, riding the crest of the wave of the, good offense he was on. And
Matt Nagy, because he was a Kansas City guy before.
I felt like Nagy showed a lot of good creative formations last year, though. But you look at it and you're like, I don't know if he got all he could get out of Cohen. I don't know if he got all he could get out of that offense. There's a lot of good things to like in a way to me about the way the Bears had ran the year before, where Jordan Howard was getting a lot of runs. And I don't know, I was just expecting all of a sudden Cohen was going to be a 90 catch, 750, 800 yard guy, and it would really help Trubisky, and they'd be running a lot of very interesting plays. They did that, but I just didn't feel like the execution was there. But I didn't feel like Nagy was necessarily a bust. But 3rd and goal at the 4. Jets
So
trying to
we've had 2 run calls and 2 runs by McCaffrey. So let's see what happens here.
McCaffrey has got 9 runs in the first half, so he just gets some carries.
Dan thought he was going to go again, but instead he passes it.
And Ellison scores. Derek Carr with his second touchdown pass. Jets go up 14-6. I kick the extra point here. 9's a good separation number, and he will. I think you sometimes, or I do, look at the point differential when deciding to kick or go for 2. And when you're already up by 8, yeah, you get the even number if you get the 2-point conversion and you're up 10 and you got the touchdown and field goal covered. But I actually feel like that 1 point there going to 9 is a huge point. And I agree with Tom kicking there rather than going for the 2.
Yeah, you want to get up 2 scores if you can. Lock that in.
So from the 25 after the touchback, here's Aaron Rodgers looking to throw, incomplete. Patrick Peterson making the play. Short pass. Peterson got us 5 this year. His Pro Football Focus looked kind of like a 4. I've got him in autumn wind. I was kind of thinking he might slip, but overall, I was kind of feeling like the reputation would carry him. Unfortunately, it did. There's 11 yards for Dixon.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk on the forum you saw where if guys are avoided by the quarterback, they'll get that boost.
I feel like there is some realism to that because if you look over and you see, my guy's got no separation in the primary route throwing at Peterson, I'm going to throw to the other side. The targets will increase to the opposite side. So.
Oh, absolutely. Some of that's even done pre-snap. They just say, forget it. I'm not going that way.
Yep. There's 9 for Dixon as he's strung together. I believe 3 of his last 4 have been very nice yards, but it only gets him up to 10 carries for 24 yards to show how he was struggling early on.
Yeah, Dan's looking to cash in that ticket. He's got 2 more unfatigued and then another 4 at least that you could run with confidence, guess wrong.
Yeah, and you figure, even if you're thinking second half on, 3rd and goal from the 8, Dixon's still going to get, even with -1 on his guess wrong, he's still going to get you 7 or 8. So you still got that value, even if you, use all his carries in the first half.
Yeah, Dan went hurry up here. He keys Dixon, but he goes in run to Rodgers. I was going to say that's a scary time to run Dixon on that 2nd and 1 because you might lose 4 and then lose, he's back in containment.
Yeah.
Containment's back in play.
Yeah, at first I thought he should have gone for it when we were talking about it on 3rd down before, but then I was looking at it, I was like, he's like at his own 32. You could fall out of good field goal range if the guy happened to guess, run there. But Aaron Rodgers is one of those guys, as long as you've got his carries left, you got to think about going to a dime. Because you don't want to give up that automatic in run wrong. So.
Right.
I feel like 1st and 10 here at the 48. See all 3 timeouts left. I feel like Dan's going to probably be looking to find a way to get into the end zone here. Even though a field goal would be nice, you'd really like to cut this 9-point lead by more than just 3 if you can. There's Stalker picking up 5, not out of bounds.
Yeah, you really want to get points no matter what anyway.
Yeah.
You got you want to get that back to a 1-score game.
But you've got to get your field goal. If you get in range, you've got to take your field goal. You can't go for like a 4th and 7 with this much time left and such. So you got to get your field goal, but Dan really wants to get the touchdown here to get this game a lot closer to even.
Right, especially because Tom gets the ball first in the second half.
It's definitely a good point. 2nd and 5. Peterson in at running back here. As Dennis mentioned, he's been featured in the passing game on third downs a little bit.
And Peterson's card in this set, of course, is chunky.
Peterson's go ahead.
His best columns to the end run guessed wrong, so you might see him go towards that to try to save some clock.
I'll be happy to admit Peterson's one of those guys I was wrong on. About 4 years ago, he had that really low average season in Minnesota, did not look fast to me or quick, and I was just like, I'm not sure that he's got much left in the tank. And I was wrong about that.
Yeah, he's stuck it out. We may be having technical problems again because it looks like there's a bit of a delay. So Peterson will get quite a few more carries in the second half. He's got 27 unfatigued. So
he's also got C.J. Anderson, I believe it is, who I believe he uses as his three-man back with Dixon and Adrian.
Yeah, looks like we got disconnected again.
Okay. Do a quick task manager check. Make sure I don't have Strat Football running in the background. Nope. Good.
We're waiting on a new game ID. So we haven't really seen it come into play much, but we got to remember that Dan's got the good pass defense while Tom's got the average. There's the new game ID, 57674. It's 57674.
When you first read off the IP, I was thinking 57674. What kind of good pass defense is that? All right.
Yeah, that would be a new concept, that's for sure.
I want that 7 graded corner. Okay, we've got a 2nd and 5. Okay, I've got 2 potential games in 1990 scheduled for tonight and a preseason review show. So getting kind of full for later. First and pickup of 17, Rogers finds Josh Gordon, who only
white die 6.
Go ahead.
There's a white die 6 on that one.
Yep. And Gordon only had 1 yard in the first half. Tom, of course, had him correctly double teamed once. 1st and 10. 1 minute left. 2 timeouts. There's an 11.
Dixon was back in the game there, so trying to get Tom to call run, but Tom stayed with the pass call. That much closer to realizing his dream of getting in the end zone.
Yeah. 2 timeouts left. You got Aaron Rodgers has 1 remaining unfatigued. It's a good rundown. Tom showing blitz, off tackle right. Dixon, we guessed wrong, no help. And he's in the end zone. 21 yards on the plus 11 with the box. And Kansas City's now down by 3. Looks like they're going to take the conventional extra point.
Yeah, you don't think about going for 2 there because then you make it a 1-point game, meaning that even if Tom gets a touchdown, he'd have to go for 2 to get up 2 scores again.
Yep. In a situation like that, I personally feel like that's a personnel thing. If you like your running game guessed right, you like the opposing middle of the defense, or you like your short card, yeah, I would definitely go for it there. But if I didn't feel comfortable in those, I would probably just take my one point and move on.
Yeah.
So maybe Dan just wasn't comfortable in his 2-yard offense at that point and just decided, let's just take the point. And we had a good end of the half. We got back from a 15-6 deficit. Now we're only down 2. So
makes sense.
Now in a regular season game, I'll point this out just because I remember listening to a broadcast you had where you were questioning a positional move I had made, and for good reason, but I'm looking at avoiding a game-ending injury. If I've got 15 seconds and I've got let's just say Kenny Stills and an almost exact same second guy, I worry a little bit about having an injury on the last 2 or 3 plays of the first half that'll affect me for the whole game. In a situation like this, where you're really unlikely to get into field goal or touchdown range anyway, I look at voiding injuries sometimes. And I believe it was Ron Jesse I'd taken out of a game and put white shoes in. And he wasn't near as good that particular year short, but my whole angle on it was this 2 or 3 plays, I'm going to be running the ball. I don't want to take a chance on Jesse getting hurt. I don't have a Ron Jesse on the bench. So.
Good point. Good point. Well, of course, there's no injuries in SSFA in the playoffs, so that's one less thing that we have to worry about as coaches. Thank goodness.
Yep.
We've seen too many. I mean, we've seen quite a few games where you lose a key player, quarterback, or something like that. It just totally changes the way you can play the game.
There's a big play by McCafferty, picking up 21 and not fumbling on this 21-yard pickup, but only 1 second left, so it's going to be a desperation time here. That's a good point, and it brings up before the league rules were changed, Adrian Peterson, as a matter of fact, when I was playing against Buffalo in maybe it's about 10 years ago in Samifa, Buffalo had an injury to Adrian Peterson, and then later they had an injury to, I want to say it was Plummer, the starting quarterback. So here we are in a playoff game. He's missing his number 1 running back, and he didn't have a big drop-off, if I'm not mistaken, at one of the two, but he's missing his starting quarterback and running back. So I was able to come back and see that in that game. But, that's part of the reason I think a lot of guys, wanted to change the rule. I'm personally fine with it either way. I don't mind having injuries in playoff games, but I can definitely understand, the momentum in the league of not wanting to see a playoff game decided by a key injury. So.
Makes sense.
And we get to the end of the first half, and the Jets up 15-13. As I mentioned, both teams were playing really well at the end of the year, as was Minnesota and, of course, Seattle. So a couple of hot teams here had to take a little time with the buy-in week around one of the playoffs. Had to take a little time off, but they're both back in action and ready to get on to round 3.
So who are you playing tonight in Tecmo?
Well, I'm probably going to play Minnesota. They asked, and we were going to play last night if Fowles came out, but we'll probably go with Minnesota if he's able to play because I'd already kind of promised him first. But it looks like Bob and the Rams are also looking for a game. I'm definitely looking for a game. I missed the playoffs, so I haven't played a football game in about a month, so I'm definitely hoping to play a game. The Jets with the ball, McCafferty in at running back. They'll take it with their own 38. Didn't get a display on the kickoff return, so I'm not sure if we had a short kickoff or a good return, but Jets starting at their own 38. Here's Carr with a rare incompletion, 16 for 19 on the day, 146 and a pair of scores. Incomplete, looking for Brandon Chuck's Kyle Fuller making a nice play, being a 6, taking a 6. All pro level play there by Cal Fuller. Big play in a playoff game. That's why you draft and hang on to these top corners like that. So it'll be 3rd and 10. Jets will move to a 3 wide receiver offense. DJ Moore in the game, rookie. He's guarded by a 4. There's a pickup of 11, Herndon, 6 catches, 47 yards. Trying to stake out his claim as being the receiving tight end on this squad. It's not Ingram, it is Chris Herndon. Max Williams just happy to be in the games and block when he can. Tom asked for a moment. I'm going to go refill coffee. I will be right back.
We got another moment for Tom as he checks something. Let's take a quick look at the statistics. In that first half, the Jets had 13 first downs. Well, they got a couple here. I'm looking at it now, so they probably had like 10 or 11 first downs. And the Chiefs had 7. Third down efficiency for Tom, 4 for 6, and for 67%. Meanwhile, Kansas City 0 for 5 on third downs. Both have done well in the red zone. And, of course, those 2 turnovers, one a straight fumble by McCaffrey and the other one a turnover on downs. So that's where we're at. Looks like we're getting going again.
So far, no turnovers for the Chiefs, but they haven't moved the ball quite as well as the Jets have so far.
Yeah, if they can get a stop here or at least hold them to a field goal, they'll get the ball back with a chance to take the lead.
McCaffrey getting 5. He got about 14 or 15, 11 carries before fatigue. Most guys aren't too worried about getting a couple of level 1 fatigue, so he's got roughly about 13 carries before he gets to fatigue 2. He's got Dion Lewis, who comes in on this down, and as we mentioned in the pregame show, Tom's ran quite a bit with this team, had good success after losing his first 2, won 10 of his last 11 of his last 14 games, and all 8 in the middle of the season.
DJ Humphries was in that last run. Looks like he's making a regular appearance now in the lineup. Maybe that was what changed after that one moment. Tom decided to go from Leo Collins or Ronnie Stanley to DJ Humphries, figuring that Dietrich Wise is not that much of a threat as a pass rusher.
First carry for Lewis, he's got 8 yards on it, and he goes again. Picks up 7, so 2nd and 3 at the 31 of the Chiefs, just looking to extend a 15-13 lead early third quarter.
You can take those mediocre, to above average backs and make them lethal with a good offensive line. And when you have 2 5s, 2 6s, and then the ability to bring in a 6 at tight end if you need it, it really does make a difference.
Absolutely. And teams that have the great short and long passing quarterbacks get the same kind of boost that, you can have an average runner, but if he's only guessed right 15% of the time instead of 25 or 30% of the time, he's going to have a nice year for you.
And we haven't really seen Dan do his typical all-out blitz. He hasn't been showing blitz and bringing the house or anything. So maybe that's why Tom switched to Humphries. He's like, well, if he's not going to threaten me with that blitz, I can go with my better run blockers.
Yep, and he's been running the ball. Both teams have been running the ball plenty today, so they're keeping the opposing defensive coordinators from just loading up and showing full-out blitz. And we've seen some draws from both teams, I believe. There's Dion Lewis once again, 3 carries, 22 yards, having a nice drive. Ball at the 14 of KC, 2nd and 3. Blitz being shown here.
Yeah, now he finally shows that blitz. Let's see if he actually brings it.
Check that box, Dan. Check that box.
Yeah, bring some heat. Let's switch it up. He needs to stop here.
That's right.
Well, he's going to get a 3rd down at least. As that was incomplete.
Incomplete, and let's take a look at Carr guessed right. Incomplete. That's one of his few misses across the board on his short card. I'm not necessarily against Derek Carr. I know I've probably gotten some comments down the road. I just feel like he's one of those guys that's kind of on the verge of maybe being a good quarterback who loses his job, like Mariota. I just worry that his win-loss record, just except for that 1 year, just really makes it tough when he gets out of this contract. Who's going to sign at 32, 33 to a big contract? You'll have to have the right situation come along, or he could be kind of looking at the same situation. You see guys like Mariota and Cam Newton in this offseason where you're kind of searching for a fit, and a lot of teams are already got young quarterbacks they're wanting to give shots to.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I think that a lot of that is the media hype where guys are looking for something to talk to, especially when they get a coach like Gruden in there. You're looking at his past where he wanted a veteran and, you know, start coming up with alternatives. Maybe Mariota is that guy. Who knows?
Yeah. You have to wonder after what's his name, Cleveland Farrell, I believe it was, defensive end last year that they picked 4th overall, and what is he, a defensive end 4.6? You might have even got a better defensive end later in the draft on your own draft. The Raiders had a better defensive end rookie last year, which you have to wonder if they're thinking twice about, that Daniel Jones sure looks good right about now.
There you go. Could be. I'm not sure if you would have spent the draft capital there, but I think Cleveland Farrell is probably not the guy I would have picked either, no matter what. Even if you went with like you said, a different defensive end that went to a different team even.
I was working with a Raiders fan during the time of the draft last year, and he was talking about all these guys he saw the Raiders picking at 4, and even down the road where they had to pick at like 18 or something, and he mentioned 30 guys, never mentioned Farrell, but the day after the draft. So what'd you think? Dude, aced that draft. I'm like, well, you didn't really like Farrell yesterday. Well,
yeah.
I feel like, and then he goes into the same justification we all do when we pick somebody that was probably on the board a little lower than where the draft pick actually occurred.
Yeah, same. The Seahawks always do that. They pick guys I never even considered that they would pick there. But most of the time it has not worked out for them lately. But once in a while it does.
What is it? I believe Connor Williams is the Cowboy guy. Well, yeah. He didn't necessarily have a great season. Well, yeah, he's undersized, but boy, we're going to get him in the weight room, lasagna 3 times a day. We're going to fatten him up. And I don't know. It feels kind of like to me they reached because they wanted a guard more than Connor Williams was a great fit there. But anyway, we all do.
I agree. Agreed. The L.J. Collier pick by the Seahawks is another one of those guys. But whatever. They'll figure it out. So he missed on a guessed wrong short pass there. Hit a snake eyes.
Yep.
So Dan's got to stop, even though it wasn't pretty.
Yep. And Carr's cooled off a little bit. He only had like 2 misses his first few passes, and he's had a few incompletions. I believe Dan's been right on the calls here for about 10 or 15 plays, so that's hurting Derek Carr a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm going to have to leave here in a little bit to take my car in, so you'll see me drop off sometime in the next 10 minutes. So just keep going if I disappear.
Will do, and have a great day if you do disappear.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck in your Tecmo games.
Thank you. All right, C.J. Anderson then maybe for the first time.
So that took out that drive, that field goal drive took up half the quarter.
Yep, good point. And that's what, when you've got even a small lead, it's one of the things you want to do. You want to start limiting possessions at some point or scoring. So he has to score to get the game back to where it was before you scored. So you're looking at a couple of ways to try to avoid a 1 minute possession, and Tom 3 points and 7.5 minutes off the clock there. So good job.
Aaron Rodgers' bomb car is not as good as it usually is, but I think we're going to see a couple in the second half.
You'd be right. See if he can trigger some of those must runs if he doesn't complete the long pass. It's a 3-yard pickup. That's Amari Cooper's first catch of the day. So blocking back C.J. Anderson, 2nd and 7. Chiefs at their own 28. There's Rodgers on a flat pass wrong with a 5. There was years that he would be completing the non-interception chance on 12, but this year he's got incompletions on 5 and 10.
That's Rodgers guessed right and guessed wrong, of course, hit on a long pass. So, when you have those quarterbacks, you're like, man, I should have gone deep there.
Yeah.
Of course, Aaron Rodgers is no Derek Carr where he hits that on a 5 guessed wrong.
Yeah, there's a point on Carr and guys like Mariota and such that just nail the flat regularly. Sometimes those guys we rate as better quarterbacks because their ability to keep the free safety occupied. Some of those guys like Rodgers this year, have some holes in their flat card.
Well, that's the first third down pickup of the day for Kansas City.
Wow.
And on that note, I'm going to take off. I will talk to you later.
Take care, Dennis. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Kenny Clark makes his second play of the game. He's a 6 compared to the roll of 5, 4-yard pickup. First carry of the game by C.J. Anderson, 2nd and 6. Ball at their own 42. There's a 6-yard pickup by Anderson, and it'll be 1st and 10. Kansas City with a drive going here. Blocking back set. There's a left flat pass to Josh Gordon. Guessed wrong. Incomplete. 2 men in the zone. Keeps the receiver roll from coming up. Nice play there by Tom. It's been disrupting Gordon all day long. 2nd and 10. Blitz being shown. C.J. Anderson. Rodgers still has an end run remaining. It's a flat left to C.J. Anderson. Nobody in the zone. It's going to pick up 6, 3rd and 4. So Rodgers able to find Anderson in the flats, gets out of containment. And at the Jets 46, we have potential 4-down territory. We'll see what happens here on 3rd and 4. Blocking back set with Anderson. No blitz being shown. It's going to be long to Josh Gordon. Nobody deep. He's got the protection. Incomplete. Tom's got 6s covering the tight end wide receiver, so he's not as worried about leaving that long zone open. Came for the blitz there, but would have had to have a free safety blitz to get the pass rush short come up. And on a 4th and 4, rather than go for it, Kansas City's going to play field position and pin the Jets back at their own 13. Just over 3 minutes remaining, third quarter, Jets leading 18-13. Jets fell behind 3-0 after 1, but they've led ever since. There's a left flat to Red Ellison, guessed right. He's going to pick up 4. Derek Carr, 19 of 25 now, 171 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, no fumbles. He's got a reasonable snap fumble, 6.9. Just stayed under 7 there. 2nd and 6. No blitz being shown. Off tackle left, McCaffrey. No help on the line. He's going to get the dreaded 5. Be 3rd and 6. We're broken out of the run containment on 3rd down had he stayed on his card but rolled anything but the 5. So we'll see what the offensive set is. Will DJ Moore come in a 3 wide receiver set, or will he go with a couple of tight ends or a blocking back set? With Derek Carr, you might, if you're Dan, not blitz as much as normal. We do have the tight end set with McCaffrey. Christian McCaffrey, obviously an excellent receiver. Not necessarily a gimme that he passes here, but you figure with Carr, very likely. He's got 2 extra defensive back, or 1 extra defensive back and the free safety, so you may see some double teaming, but no, it's just flood the look in. Fumble. Carr loses the ball. He's going to pick it up, and he's going to run forward out to the 11. Had the ball stripped from behind there. One short, knocked it free. Lucky hop for Carr, gets the ball back and gets 3 yards before being taken down. Excellent punt. Here goes 45 yards. Unfielded, bounces an additional 11 yards. So a net 56. So Dan, who had held field position very well there with the punt down to the Jets 13 and then getting them off the field quickly, unfortunately, 56-yard net punt. He loses some of that starting field position advantage, but still he starts at his own 33. But he had a net of, say, 35. He would have started in Jets territory on this drive. Here's Rodgers looking short, finds Cameron Brate, 13 yards, first down. 12 of 18, 104 for Mr. 319 Hutt. First and 10, C.J. Anderson. It's going to be a look into Gordon, one man. It's going to be incomplete. The pass rush shot there. Kenny Clark going against Ryan Khalil. Had a 13 chance, but random of 63. Khalil able to make the block there. Second and 10. It's going to be long to Gordon. Guessed wrong. Man in zone. Incomplete. Just missing the plus 55. And this will be the last play of the third quarter. Be a 3rd and 10. KC down by 5 at their own 46. .335 no blitz being shown here by the Jets. Shotgun. 3 wide receiver set. It's going to be a left flat to C.J. Anderson. He's got an open zone over there, and he's got the first down. Nice job by Dan picking the right play for the right defensive situation. Tom bringing some pressure over on the right linebacker spot. Had Barr coming. You've got Alexander on the other side. But Dan found the right play for that particular defensive call. Here's a left flat to C.J. Anderson. This time, Tom's got the right guy in the right zone. It's going to be incomplete. It'll be Aaron Rodgers, 13 of 22 for 118 yards. No turnovers so far. Ball to Jets 40. So either we're in 4-down territory, more than likely, or he'll be in field goal range if he gets a first down. It'll be 3rd and 10 now. Aaron Rodgers missing on a short pass. 13 of 23. Not a great day for Rodgers so far. Three wide receiver shotgun. No blitz being shown. 3-3-5 for the Jets. It's going to be flat right to Amari Cooper. He's made the catch, picks up 5, and now we're at a 4th and 5 of the Jets 35. He's had like 2 through 5 field goal range, I want to say, but he's probably going to go for it here. It's really hard to nail a coffin corner from here with the modern punters and having good numbers in the middle of your punt card. Even with the minus 11 you get on the 3 die going for the coffin corner, you still get a lot of touchbacks from this range. So kind of looking for Dan to find a play and go for it on 4th and 5. And if he could get it in the end zone, he could take the lead here. It's going blocking back with Dixon. Dixon being eligible, being a 3rd or 4th down. run containment is going to come up and stop Rogers or Dixon from getting max yardage. So we'll see what kind of play Dan comes up with here. Of course, you get those guys out of the zone if they were blitzing or double teaming, and you could run at the right one. Short to Josh Gordon, it'll be guessed wrong. And Rogers, key pickup, 14 yards. Down to the Jets, 21. Biggest pass of the day for Aaron Rodgers there, and he makes a huge 4th and 5 completion. And Gordon now 3 catches, 32 yards. Been upset a couple of times by a correct free safety double team and 2 men in the flat zone setting a receiver reading. Long to Cooper. It's going to be guessed right. Incomplete. Making the play in the deep zone, Jamal Adams. It's getting some local sports radio talk, as the Cowboys said, look to maybe acquire Jamal Adams. That he may not be that great a pass defender. Took a 6 on the free safety reading, and he is a 6. So he definitely can defend the pass and made a touchdown-saving play on that one. 2nd and 10 at the Jets 21. Adams coming through with a huge play. Keep the Jets in front, 18-13. It's going to be a linebacker key. Great call by Tom. Losing a yard to C.J. Anderson. So it'll be 3rd and 11 at the 22. Let's take a look at what the guessed wrong would have been for C.J. there. 22 yards, so he would have been in the end zone. So Tom getting a really nice pass defense play from Jamal Adams. Comes through as a defensive coordinator on the next one and makes a great call to set up 3rd and 11. It's going to be a blocking back shotgun look for the Chiefs. Let's see what the Jets come up with here. Probably not show blitz based on what I've seen so far, but they will here. Possibility of knocking Rodgers with a -11 or more back into the next field goal range. Now, if Dan was going to go for it on 4th down, this is where you might think of in running Rodgers. But I feel like Dan's going to take his field goal. No, he is going to in run Rodgers. He's going to pick up all but one. The +18 capped at 10-yard by the successful containment, and it's going to set up 4th and 1. There's a decision they pay you the big bucks to make. Do you kick the field goal to make it 18-16, or do you try to get your 1 yard, take the lead? If Tom goes down, if you don't make it and Tom goes down and gets a field goal, you're down 8, and you're probably looking at half the 4th quarter being gone. So decisions. 2020. Full house being shown. 3-4, no blitz. This is kind of a big play. Short to Gordon, and it'll be guessed wrong. And Rodgers puts it in right there on the money to Josh Gordon. Touchdown. And Kansas City going for the 4th and 1, using Aaron Rodgers' last end run, knowing it's probably going to be contained to set up the 4th and 1, converts on the following play, and they're up 19-18. Expect they'll go for 2. Getting at that point in the game, you're starting to think of even numbers, 3s and 7s for your leads. Full house again. Three-four blitz being shown by the Jets. Be linebacker Adrian Peterson guessed wrong, and he's in. So Kansas City gets the 2-point conversion, and they're up 21-18. Kickoff deep into the end zone. It's going to be taken for a touchback. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be back in just a moment. 21-18, KC leads. Okay, I'm back. Let's take a look and see what I missed. Derek Carr had hit Max Williams for a short pass of 14. He fumbled. New York fell on the ball, stayed there. Max picked up 5 on a dump off. McCaffrey ran for 9. Dion Lewis ran for 4. So we're at 2nd and 6, out to the 43 of the Chiefs. Incomplete. Carr 21 of 28 for 190 and a pair of scores. 3rd and 6 at the Chiefs 43. And once again, 4 down territory potentially. Not necessarily. You're still in the range where you can get a really nice coffin corner punt, but you're down by 3. 8:42 remaining, so 4 down territory is definitely something all coaches are going to think about here. So we got a blocking back set and a 3-4. So both teams staying in a pretty good run situation. It'll be an end run guess wrong for Dion Lewis. It's going to beat the defensive end, get 5 of the 6 yards, and set up a 4th and 1. And Kansas City, or rather the Jets, will go for it. And they're going to go out of a blocking back set. Got Max Williams in at tight end. Red Ellison, blocking back. Carr, excellent flat passer. One of those big plays. Got dueling free safety sixes, Jenkins and Jamal Adams. Jenkins is a 6'4". Got a linebacker Carr. He's being keyed. Excellent call. He loses a yard, and the key saved the first down. Would have picked up one there. So both coaches with excellent keys. Kansas City able to come back and get a touchdown after the successful key on C.J. Anderson from the 21 on the last Chiefs drive. But on this one, on 4th and 1, Tom's saying, think how bad I would be if I ran with McCaffrey, because he did roll a 5. Blocking back set. About halfway done here in quarter 4. Kansas City with the ball at their own 39, up by 3. Aaron Rodgers is out of end runs. C.J. Anderson's got several runs left. It'll be a flat right to Great, and he's going to pick up 18. Nice pickup for Cameron Great. 4 catches, 63 yards. Of course, he broke the short pass for a long gain, but unfortunately lost his footing and was able to take it the distance, but picks up a nice 18-yard pickup, and again, 63 yards. You can get 1,000 yards receiving if you can average 63 a game. C.J. Anderson will be a look into Amari Cooper. Nobody there. It's going to be 7-yard pickup. 2nd and 3. Now ball to Jets 36, creeping toward good field goal range. And once again, probably in 4-down territory here. 2nd and 3. It's going to be a look into Cooper. Guess wrong. He's going to pick up 12. Aaron Rodgers, 19 of 30 now for 186 and a touchdown. Cooper, only 4 for 27, but they've all came in the second half. Well, the Jets 24 now. 6 minutes left. There's a guessed wrong flat pass, 9-yard pickup for C.J. Anderson. 3rd catch for 29 yards, setting up a 2nd and 1 at the Jets 15. Important 15 yards for defense on the Jets. If they could hold them to a field goal, get the ball back. There's a line butt for 3 yards by Aaron Rodgers. Be a 1st and 10. .28 yards on the ground for Mr. Rodgers. Ball to Jets 12. There's a flat incomplete again on the 5. And it guessed wrong, but again, Aaron Rodgers unable to find C.J. Anderson. 2nd miss for Rodgers on that 5. $19 chances guessed wrong. A lot of times you'll see Aaron Rodgers with that many chances on his guessed right card. It wasn't a big completion year for him. Aaron Rodgers is still playing great football, but he's not he doesn't look like the greatest to ever play the game good like he did 4 or 5 years ago. So look in, 2 men in zone to Josh Gordon will be guessed right, +6, setting up a 3rd and 4. Now they're inside the 10, so there'll be no containment. Be no dump off. Full house. We'll see if Tom shows blitz here. Might say, what do you have to lose? The long gain doesn't matter, but you do get the automatic completion on the sniper scope versus having to check the receiver card. And there is something to lose, but most coaches are going to show blitz. Not here. Huge play, 3rd and 4, full house. Short to Stoker. It's going to be guessed right. 4 men in zone. He gets the pass rush. Anthony Barr with a sack, 7-yard. Daniel Hunter forced it going against Dwayne Brown. And so McManus comes on for the extra point. 6-point lead, 3:18 remaining. And the Jets will take over at their own 21. This is one of those situations, if you're facing a good offense, you're like, oh, man, they're coming down in 4-down territory. I'm up 6. This is just a loss waiting to happen. So if you're facing just one of those dominant offenses, or if you don't have a good defense, it's a scary situation because the offense obviously is going to be working with that extra down. Of course, you know, if they had a 3rd or 4th and 10 from this point in the field, they'll probably punt. But you figure they're in 4-down mode pretty much this whole drive, unless it's just a unattainable first down situation. Tom getting his guys rallied on the sideline, trying to figure out what is going to be our way of getting 79 yards and getting into round 3. It's 2 tight end look. Ingram in, Max Williams on the blocking side on the second tight end. McCaffrey. Of course, Christian McCaffrey is the son of former Bronco great wide receiver Ed McCaffrey, who unfortunately suffered a broken leg the night before 9/11. It's a flat pass left to McCaffrey. Oh, the interception incomplete. The interception chance right there on the 11. Right by that 12. That would have been a game-changing kind of interception. Up by 6. That would have left Kansas City in 2 through 10 field goal range. They could have ran the ball 3 times, exhausted timeouts, gone up by 9, and they would be in great shape. But 2nd and 10, Derek Carr going against the 3-3-5 here with Dion Lewis. Definitely a running situation if Tom wants to, and he will. In run Dion Lewis, guessed wrong. It's going to get past the defensive end once again. Dietrich Wise unable to make the play there. And he picks up 5 to set up a 3rd and 5 from his own 26. White knuckle time on the sidelines. Coach's whole season coming down to this one drive, perhaps. KC leading by 6. Jets with the ball. 3rd and 5 at their own 26. 2:24 left. A 2 tight end set with McCaffrey. 2 wide receivers. 3-3-5 base showed by the defense. Doesn't mean they would not call a run. It'll be off tackle right. McCaffrey gets wrong. It's going to get the 5 yards on the block there. DJ Humphries, 6 versus 5. It's one of the situations Ronnie Stanley would not have made the block. Felt like Ronnie Stanley was actually going to be a run blocking 5 in the 2018 card set, but he just missed, ended up with a 4.7. Still a good rating, but not as good as the 6.7 he'll have in 2019, of course. It's about as good an offensive tackle last year as we've seen in pass blocking. Pro Football Focus was raving about him having maybe the greatest pass blocking season an offensive tackle had ever had. So solid tackle there. Pick up of 6 by McCaffrey, and we're at the 2-minute warning. It'll be 2nd and 4. All right, Dennis is back. It'll be 2nd and 4. Jets at their own 37. See if I need to re-add Dennis. Looks like he may still be there. Can you hear me, Dennis? Let me get back to game action here. 2 minutes left, 2nd and 4. Okay, I've got to add him. We'll do it after this play. And if Dennis will throw in a 4th round pick. So Dan trying not to lean too hard on the first down marker, and he is not. He's looking past 2 men deep and run McCaffrey. He's going to get the first down. He's been feasting on that defensive left end. 3rd time he's beat Deke Wise. Let me get Dennis added here. There he is. Okay. Hey, Dennis.
Hey, we got a 2-yard pickup there as you were adding me in. Went to good old Max Williams. Go back to that full screen mode too.
Thank you.
And I don't know if anybody else wants to join, but I saw Nathan there or whatever. If you guys want to join, just Slack Tim. We can get you added in maybe for the post game talk. So what do you think? This is a pretty exciting game here, coming down to the last drive of the game.
It has been. That was a really big drive for Kansas City, and Tom got the key 3rd down sack to basically give himself one last drive. Otherwise, if he had fallen down by 2 scores there, that would have been really tough. But here, down only 6, he's not in bad shape. It's going to be incomplete. I've got to get the screen shared out fully here. Just a second.
Even with the 4-minute zone, that's not a pick, but it did hit the pick split.
Okay.
Big 3rd down here.
Big 3rd down here. 3rd and 8. Tom may be looking at getting it into more makeable 4th down situation. So McCaffrey running and not off the board, and he will run. He'll pick up 7 and
6.
6 entertainment. So he's got a 4th and 2, very much more makeable than being out in a situation where a run contained would affect. So he's going down to a makeable 4th and 2. And both coaches are thinking, yeah, the sticks are important here, but it also gives you a chance for a big play if you want to take a shot here.
Yeah, and also to say too, we saw that drive by Tom in the first half that took up half the 3rd quarter.
Yep.
That's one of the problems with a quarterback like Carr, which is so his strength is on the flat passing. When you need to go 80 yards in 2 minutes or 3 minutes, it's harder to do that with a flat pass specialist. I mean, you can hit some white die 6s to help you out along the way, but here we see he used up 2 of those 3 minutes, and he's just now to midfield and facing the biggest 4th down of his season. He's got Max Williams in there at tight end for the 6.
3-3-5. Don't know if Dan's just showing that to try to entice a run call that he's going to jump up and slam, or if he's willing to give up the first down and going to play the pass here. Interesting calls.
Yeah, he can go for 2 straight doubles. That's going to give him 40% of the targets doubled. But I got the feeling that Tom's going to run it here. Oh, he went for the pass.
And he's going to pick it up. Went to a guy who was not double teamed, Max Williams. Probably if you're looking at the 5 best targets there, he's probably number 5, but he's also the least likely guy to get double teamed, and that's what we saw there.
Nice call by Tom.
One of the things you're mentioning about Carr, you lose some of the flat pass ability in a situation like this. Also, the dump off falls off the board as you get late in the 4th quarter, and you lose that dump off ability of Carr.
Yeah, 30 seconds or less is when the dump offs get turned off, so it's still in play here. That's why we see, I think, Ronnie Stanley back in the game. Might see a short pass here or a run by McCaffrey. Well, I guess there is still plenty of time left. It's only 39 yards, and he's just got to get.
He's got 2 timeouts. He gets out of bounds there. Nice pickup of 7. So he's got a 2nd and 3. And again, 32 yards out. You're in really good shape here with both timeouts. Right now we're looking at 7 plays remaining maximum. So he's in good shape.
But if you're Dan, you just need to make that 1 or 2 good calls to really put him in another tough situation.
And Tom gets a guess wrong. In run off McCafferty, and he gets 0. Tough roll for Tom there. Good call. Good situation. Dan was guarding the flat outside zones, thinking Tom would be looking to maybe conserve a timeout. And Tom gets the end run, guess wrong. One man in zone. He's in good shape, but he gets one of the worst rolls he could get. And so
the dreaded 5 gives way to the dreaded 4.
Yep, but he could not get out of bounds. So tough situation. Got 0 guess wrong and had burn a timeout, but he still got 37 seconds. So you still got 6 plays maximum. Plenty of time.
Crossing pattern to Cooks, 4 men in the zone.
And there goes Carr taking off and running. You don't lose your must runs when it goes under 30 seconds. But that's not a real strength of Carr, but he picks up a huge one there. And after getting keyed on a line buck on a 4th and 1 and losing a yard, he gets his first down there.
Yeah, and
he did not get out of bounds on the must run, which has been a forum topic lately.
Yeah, you cannot get out of bounds on a must run right now.
I believe somebody on this broadcast posted some examples in real life of that, and maybe we'll bring it up to Glenn tomorrow. We'll see.
Yeah, Glenn's the ratings guru. He's not really the one that does the programming or controls the rules. So he passed it along.
Yeah.
It's just funny how Mike Kane is arguing against it so hard.
Yeah.
So now with Dan, you're not really counting. You're like you said, you're counting plays like you're talking about. What has he got now? You got 22. If he gets out of bounds every time, 22, 15, 8, 1. So 4 plays left. Is that right? And if he doesn't get out of bounds, it's going to be even less than that. So do you think about going up top if you're Tom? Do you stick with the run, try to get out of bounds, and see if McCaffrey hits that plus 45 to end the game on his end run card on an 11?
One of the worries you have, you look at
there he goes.
He does. You look at Carter and his completion shorter, plus 10 and plus 11. So if you're sitting on the 12 or 13 on the last play or two, that's not a good situation to be in. So you definitely want to think about getting down to the 10-yard line or going deep. And so it's an interesting call.
Yeah, so no more dump offs now. We're inside 30 seconds. We're also in a containment situation. So, you probably won't see a run here by McCaffrey. He wants to pick up the first down here, get out of bounds, and give himself 2 shots at the end zone.
He's got 4 different options throwing at a 4 defender, but he's probably going to have 2 guys in the long zone. So nope. We'll see, but you probably won't get the defender X deep, but he will have a shot at it. You're short to Cooks, double teamed, 15 yards. Double teamed linebacker, so it came up off of Cook's guess right card.
Yep, and he does not have double team receptions. So 2 plays. Dan's got to make 2 calls to stop this drive. Tom's got his last time out left, so he will get both of those plays.
You've got McCaffrey who can score from here. If you're Tom, you're thinking 2 shots at the short zone, but you also have to think whatever the sack chances are. We haven't seen a lot of free safety blitz, but a sack is pretty close to ending the game if he gets it, because that's going to knock him out of short pass range. No blitz being shown. We're going to have to make Dan change his name. If he's going to call free safety blitz his name, he's going to have to show it a little more in this.
Well, maybe he's safe to the blitz instead of safety blitz. He goes to the middle option. He doesn't go with Ronnie Stanley. He goes with Lael Collins, who's boosted up from a 5 to a 6.
You could definitely,
which is smart.
Yep, and you could definitely. He's got a guess wrong play. Oh, 4 makes the play.
Robert Alford with the SWAT gets rid of that. He says, "Get that shot out of here." We're going to the last play of the game.
And Dan's like, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." We saw Jamal Adams save a touchdown on a check of 6 against the free safety on the last drive. So we're seeing guys make a fingertip save on the defensive secondaries of each squad. Game on the line. 1 play left from the 8-yard line. What is Dion Lewis's end run wrong look like?
And I'm just checking, I'm not saying this is going to happen, but Jake Elliott, Tom's kicker, has a miss on an extra point on 11. So it's definitely not totally over if he gets in the end zone. But it's 93%, 95%, something like that.
Yeah, I feel like he's passing here. I don't see a ton of hits on McCaffrey's guess wrong to get 8 yards and 1 play left. I'm thinking we're locked into a short pass here myself.
Yeah, maybe if he would have brought in Zenner, but he doesn't want to give up that passing target. All these guys can catch a short pass very well. So it's going to go to one of these guys, short pass, not showing blitz. McCaffrey's doubled. And it's incomplete. The Chiefs win the game. Way to go, Dan.
Excellent coaching by both sides. We saw a really good game come down to basically the final play of the game. Jets has the chance to win from the Chiefs' 8 as the game ends.
I wonder what McCaffrey's card on an 8, if he had run it, does not get into the end zone in any possible way. If he would have brought in Zenner gets into the end zone on an 8 on – oh, no, he doesn't. He gets to the 1 yard – would have got to the 1 yard line on an off tackle.
I'm going to add some of the other guys to the broadcast just in case they want to jump in.
Yeah, get Nathan in here.
Yeah.
Let's talk about
Nobody had asked me to join on stream, but I'm going to throw them in anyway. And feel free to jump in anytime, guys.
Tom's got to be disappointed. This is the second year in a row he's gone out in the first round of the playoffs. Last year after going 16-0, and this year after, I think he won like 8 or 9 in a row.
Yeah, he won the weeks 5 through 12. So, yeah, he had 8 straight wins. I think he went 0-2 to start the year, and then, like I say, won weeks 5 through 12. So, excellent regular season.
Tom's giving me a hard time telling me that running is the key because I always tell him to run more. And this game he ran a ton, but just couldn't get into the end zone. I think with McCaffrey, you need to hit one of those big numbers, and he did not do that today. He got 21-yard gain twice, but it was both off the D cards.
Yep.
So Rodgers and Dixon outduel McCaffrey and Carr today. Yeah, he only ran C.J. Anderson 3 times. I don't know if Tom was sitting on the run or what, but we saw him really throttle Kenneth Dixon for a while in the first half towards the end until it was like under 2 minutes left. But then really the story of this game has got to be Robert Alford swatting it away. That was a 2/3 chance for Tom to win this one on that one play.
Yeah, he had a guess wrong shot there. Was it to Stills, and Alford able to make the play, huge play to save Dan's season.
Yeah, pretty cool. It's neat that we have a game like this. This was like a championship caliber game there with going down to the last play of the game. Wow, pretty cool.
It was almost the whole game was within a 1-score game. We had a brief time where it was the Jets were up by 9, but otherwise the game was really close the whole way.
And Tom, he builds his teams his way. He likes to have them built nearly purely through the drafts. He wants to pick these guys, stick with them their whole career. He'll trade away guys to get more picks so he can pick more young players, but he's not really one to trade for, like a big impact player that wasn't his homegrown, choice from watching tape as a college player. So, So, it leaves him with a couple of holes. Like, he didn't have a 6'7" there at offensive tackle. He had to choose between a 6'3" and a 4'7". So I'm not saying that would have made a difference in the game. He actually used them very well, but it just shows you that there's some, when you go with that homegrown method, you're going to leave yourself some holes. So do we get anybody else in the broadcast, or is it just us?
Well, I did add a couple. Nobody's joined in and said anything to my knowledge, but it looks like we've got Michael, Nathan, and Tony. Shows up.
So let's hear it, guys. What's up with the peanut gallery? What did you guys think of the game?
It was excellent. Tim, you did a nice job on your call, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, Tim's moving up the broadcasting rankings. He's now the CBS number 2 team behind Tom. So yeah, I do like to hear Tim call the games. It's cool.
Does a nice job. He does a nice job.
Yeah, thanks. Joe Buck wasn't really that hard to replace. But.
So we got 3 of the 4 coaches in the semifinals, right? Nathan, me, Tony. We get Dan in here. We have 4 for 4. Do a semifinal preview show. Nathan, are you there? Or are you not able to talk? Might not have a mic on. What's up, Tony? Are you there?
I'm here, but I don't have video. I didn't see hardly any of the game. I'm just on my lunch break.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I had to leave and get my car checked into the shop. So Tim did most of the second half by himself. But really, I think all 3 of us that are in this chat. I mean, I don't think anybody really wanted to play Tom. I guess you could say you don't mind, because he's going to prepare and make those good calls. But he seems to be snake bitten by Christian McCaffrey, and so Mifa he didn't perform the way he wanted to, and even today when he did perform, he had a couple of key spots where he didn't come through.
Yeah, I don't know that I could have scored much at all against Tom's defense. Not really looking forward to playing Dan either, because I made some disparaging comments about Mr. Rogers after our regular season meeting, so I'm sure he's going to be ready to roll against me. Plus, we played the semis last year too.
Nice. Oh, you guys, that's right. So he's looking for revenge. So, although everybody's looking for revenge against you, Tony, because you back-to-back championships there. So.
Well, even blind squirrels find acorns once in a while.
Yeah, you found a whole treasure trove. So let me see if I can get Dan on here. I don't know if he's able to join us. That'd be cool to do a little post-game interview.
Which team do you have, Tony?
The Vikings.
Oh yeah, you had a really good end of the season too. You guys were really hot.
Yeah, Tom and I both started off, and I think Dan did too. Start off 1-3. I got blown out by Washington. I returned 2 kicks for touchdowns versus Dennis and still lost. I couldn't do much right at the start. And then I won about 10 in a row and then lost to either Green Bay or Pittsburgh. I don't remember which one. But this could be the end of the road since Mr. Luck is no longer with us.
Oh.
And Mr. Smith isn't playing.
No. Huh? Oh, just sports. Okay. All right, guys, I'm going to jump off. I will talk to you later.
All right. Thanks for jumping in, Dennis, and we'll catch you soon in another league. And I'll go ahead and end the broadcast. I'll go ahead and put this up for anybody who wants to watch it later. Hope everybody enjoyed the game. Congratulations to Dan and Tom having a great season, and we'll catch you guys later. Take care.